Chainsaw Man. What else can I say? This manga is a masterpiece. It's lovely and I cannot stop reading it. It has gathered a huge following, not only because of its amazing and violent fights, but also because of its charming and funny characters. The show's popularity will tend to only grow more and more with the release of the new anime that is coming out in a couple of months. Yeah, the video is being done before the anime, but I'm not sure if it's gonna come out by then. Let's see. And so I wanted to take this moment to analyze Denji's character and personality in a more psychological sense. I want to see who's Denji and what makes him work. I'm just warning you guys, this video will most likely have spoilers up to volume 7 of the manga, so if you never read the book, or I don't know, watched the anime, depending where you're watching this, yeah, you have been warned. As we already know, Denji is the protagonist of this horror comedy manga. He's a 16-year-old orphan that has been cursed with the horrible task of paying his father's Yakuza debts. To gather money, Denji works together with his best and only friend, a devil called Pochita. Pochita and Denji have like a brother relationship, taking care of each other and living together through all the hard times. Pochita is a chainsaw devil. They are capable of transforming themselves into a chainsaw, an ability that Denji uses as a way of killing demons for profit. Other than killing demons, Denji also used to sell some of his body parts in exchange for money, that he could therefore use to pay his Yakuza debts. One day though, the Yakuza decided to make a deal with the zombie devil. The deal was more or less the following. The Yakuzas would provide the devil with devil hunters in exchange for zombie powers. This turned out to be a monkey paw situation where the Yakuza were actually turned into brainless zombies, turning them into slaves that responded only to the zombie devil's commands. Look guys, I think I'm about to make a hot take, so let me cook on this one. I just think selling your humanity in exchange for zombie powers is not necessarily a great deal. But who knows, who am I to say otherwise, right? I'm just a normal guy making a video on YouTube, whatever. So Denji being a devil hunter, he was a prime target for the zombie devil. Therefore, he got sent into an abandoned storage by the Yakuza in a kind of task to kill a devil, and then ambushed by these Yakuzas, and then thrown into a trash bin. But before Denji fully dying, Pochita makes a deal with Denji, where Pochita fuses with Denji's body and revives him, giving him the Chainsaw Devil powers, but in exchange, Pochita just wants only one thing, that is, to see Denji's dreams. After this, Denji joins the government Devil Hunter force, and then we meet a variety of characters that we as the reader starts to care about and adore and love. And this is like how Chainsaw Man starts. Look, I'm not a psychologist or a sociologist, so I'm going to do my best trying to explain the concept of the id for you guys. So Sigmund Freud, one of the founders of psychoanalysis, proposed significant theories that dissect the human mind and its behaviors. He believed that the human personality is composed of three elements: the id, the superego, and the ego. The id, according to Freud, is the primary component of the human personality due to its instinctive and primitive behavior. The id is the part of the human personality that seeks for instant gratification. The id lives in the present, only caring about satisfying what they want and nothing else. For example, imagine if you had the option between eating a piece of bread now or saving it for later. The id would choose to eat it now. This part of our personality is also directly connected with the sexual and violent needs present on the human being. Therefore why Freud argued that it consists of primitive behaviors. Kids tend to be ruled by the id when they are young because it increases their chance of survivability. Now, the superego can be considered to be the clear opposite of the id. While the id represents the human primal instincts, the superego represents society. It is built based on the morals and beliefs that we humans have acquired through our parents and other social interactions. The superego is what allows us humans to live in a society and make correct judgments towards certain situations. Lastly, the ego is what maintains the balance between the superego and the id. The ego has the objective of taking the necessities and desires created by the id and satisfying them through the values and beliefs present on the superego. The ego tries to fulfill the id desires through social acceptable ways. Freud compared the id to a horse, a creature that provides power and motion, while the ego is the rider, providing direction and guidance. Without this guidance, the horse would run wild and become violent, like the id without the ego. So after the whole philosophy lesson, you guys might be asking, how is Denji and id connected at all? Well, that is what I'm going to try to explain. Since the start of the story, we have been able to see Denji's dreams. He's a simple guy that just dreams of a better life that includes a girlfriend and nice food. Nothing out of the ordinary. But something that caught my attention was how after Denji fought the zombie devil, the first thing he asked Makima was for food and what it's like to eat breakfast. While in a normal interaction this wouldn't be weird, Denji just had a tiring battle against an army of zombies. But the first thing he decides to ask Makima is what breakfast tastes like. He could have asked any other question that would help him understand his current situation. But no, he decided that his stomach matters more than whatever just happened. I perceive this as a clear example of how Denji is driven by the id. He might be laying on the ground while gasping for air, but his priority is to satisfy his stomach's demand for food. This connects to the instant gratification that the id looks for. The prime example is just a small droplet in the ocean that is Denji's instinctive and animal-like behavior. One of his main personality traits is his constant sexual drive. This man is capable of putting his whole job and life at risk in exchange for any sexual interaction. Like in chapters 6 to 10, where Power promises him that if he rescues their cat, she would allow him to rub her teeth. Of course Denji accepts and then falls into a trap. His mind is so concentrated on touching a girl's boobs that he couldn't properly analyze the situation and think how shady it sounds. My guy focused on only pleasing his urges and ignored his own safety, and the worst part is that later on when he does grab them, he just cannot believe that grabbing devil milkers is not what he expected. After all of the struggle, he's disappointed. And funnily enough, this is not the last time that we hear Denji ignore the dangerous situation due to sex. Makima has promised this man that if he kills the gun devil, she will do any favor that he asks. And of course, as sex-driven our main protagonist is, he accepts with a bright smile. My man is being asked to participate in a suicide mission, and he's completely fine with it, if it means that he will have sex with this unholy creature. The gun devil killed more than 50,000 people in less than 30 seconds, and our protagonist thinks that he has a chance if his motivation is sex. And impressively, it keeps happening. For example, when Himeno promises him a kiss if he kills the devil that he's fighting with, this makes him all pumped up and excited for action. Another example that caused irreparable damage was when Reese teased him for a long time and later on revealed to be the bomb devil, and that she was there to take his heart. This led to a fight that had many fatalities and immense damage in either public or private property. And to make it worse, during the fight he hesitated for a second because he still thought that she was into him. And I'm pretty sure this is not gonna be the last time that we're going to see Denji's id being destructive. One could argue that this is just him being naive, since he's a 16-year-old boy that never had proper interaction with girls throughout his life. But even if you argue this, I think that after the second or third time of messing up, Denji would realize that his sexual desires should not be what guides his actions. After all, his job is to save people, and putting people's lives at risk due to his horniness would not make him the employee of the month. To me, this is the main point that shows how he's an allegory of the id. His mind is in such primal state that one of the things that he values the most than his own life is sex. This is such a primitive and animal-like behavior that we see no one else in this series have. Lastly, I would also like to note one last trait of Denji's personality that I feel plays an intense role in his connection with the id, his attraction to violence. While yes, every character in Chainsaw Man is violent to a certain degree, I perceive Denji as someone that differs from the human characters. Maybe this is due to how his heart is now basically a devil, but I cannot say that for sure. Moving on, violence is one of the most primitive instincts present in any living being. After all, it's the most efficient way to survive on this planet. But Denji, unlike many devil hunters, does not use his weaponry carefully or with any kind of strategy. Many times, Denji is seen attacking the enemy mindlessly, expecting different outcomes. And to be honest, it does work to an extent, like in the case of the Eternity Devil, where attacking without a proper plan worked. But as the story starts to evolve and enemies get stronger, these simple strategies failed Denji many times. For example, when Katana Man attacked for the first time and he almost killed Denji and all of his colleagues. Of course, due to this event, Denji ended up having to go through his training arc with power, so he could improve his fighting skills and actually be capable of creating different strategies. Look, maybe I'm overanalyzing Denji's character, maybe I'm not, who knows, but I can say something for sure. When looking back at what the id is and how Denji acts and is presented to the audience, I can't stop thinking how much this character is driven by the human id. His constant wish for instant gratification, his drive for sex and his mindless acts of violence turns him into a primitive human being to a certain degree. Of course, he still has an ego and a superego that we can see take control from time to time, like when he decided to not have sex with Himeno because he felt that it was better for him to have sex with someone he truly loves. This shows his superego in action, because he's following the societal idea that we should only have intimate relationships with the ones we truly love. But we see so little of these sides up to volume 7 that makes me hard to believe that the author didn't purposely create Denji with the intention of making him a somewhat personification of the human desires and needs, or in shorter terms, the personification of the id.